It seems that Amber Heard is not going to let Johnny Depp rest, and the only thing she will continue to do is fight that the verdict was not fair and that Johnny Depp was not telling the truth. However, although she has made statements lately that could send her back to court, it seems that there is a news source, very reliable, who has come out to tell the whole truth and all the details about the defamation trial between Amber and Johnny. Apparently, we have testimony that Amber Heard falsified and faked all of her evidence, as well as the beatings she claimed Johnny gave her. Is this true? What was the reason why the witnesses come out to denounce Amber's falsehoods? What has Amber said, and what could be the consequences of not staying silent? Stay to find out everything.
The Depp team argued that you were the abuser, that you instigated physical violence. Did you?
I never had to instigate it. I responded to it.
You say you were responding, but there is evidence. There are tapes in which you acknowledge hitting. There are tapes in which you say, I started the fight.
During an explosive TV interview, Amber Heard publicly accused her ex-husband Johnny Depp of physical abuse again, insisting that she will stand by every word of her testimony until the day she dies. Less than 2 weeks after she was found guilty of defaming the actor by claiming that he sexually assaulted her during their marriage, during an interview with Savannah Guthrie of The Today's Show, the 36-year-old actress blasted Depp as a liar and repeated her claims that he beat her during their marriage while speaking out about the unfair verdict in the former couple's $8 million defamation trial. During the pre-recorded interview, Heard accused the jurors in the trial of being duped by her ex-husband, branding him as nothing more than a fantastic actor who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers, in a bizarre reference to his performance as Edward Scissorhands in Tim Burton's 1990 film. When asked what she thought about allegations made by Depp's lawyer, Camille Vasquez, who shot to online fame after her ferocious cross-examination of Heard on the stand, that she had been performing on the stand and that she'd lied about the abuse she claims she suffered at the hands of Depp, Heard quickly clapped back at Guthrie. Says the lawyer for the man who convinced the world he had scissors for fingers? Heard hit back, I'm the performer? I had listened to weeks of testimony insinuating, or saying quite directly, that I'm a terrible actress, so I'm a bit confused how it could be both. A jury ruled earlier this month that Heard defamed her ex-husband by publishing an article about being a sexual assault survivor in the Washington Post. She was ordered to pay Depp $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages, though the judge reduced the second payment to $350,000 per Virginia law. She was awarded a paltry $2 million in compensatory damages, leaving Depp out of the case with Heard, owing him $8.35 million. Despite a jury finding Heard guilty on 3 accounts of defamation against her ex-husband, the actress refused to retract her claims of abuse against him, instead doubling down on her allegations that he was physically violent. He said he never hit you. Is that a lie? Guthrie questioned. To which Heard responded bluntly, yes it is. She added, to my dying day, I will stand by every word of my testimony.
Do you stand by your testimony and your accusations against Johnny Depp about abuse?
Of course, to my dying day, will stand by every word of my testimony.
Heard also accused Depp's lawyers, Vasquez and her associate Benjamin Chu, of attempting to distract the jury from the real issues during the trial, admitting that they had done a better job than her own legal team. Her renewed public allegations of abuse against her ex-husband will no doubt raise questions about whether Depp would have a case to sue her for defamation again, and could derail Heard's plans to appeal the verdict in the ex-previous couple's defamation trial. Heard also claimed that the trial had called her First Amendment right to free speech into question, claiming that she had spoken her truth and spoken it to power, only to have it snuffed out. When questioned by Guthrie about audio clips played during the 6-week trial in which the actress could be heard admitting to being physically abusive to Depp, Heard insisted that she only ever responded to physical violence but never instigated it. I never had to instigate it. I responded to it, she claimed. When you're living in violence and it becomes normal, as I testified to, you have to adapt. Heard went on to say that while she has so much regret for the horrible and ugly things she did and said to Depp, she was only acting as a person in extreme emotional, psychological, and physical stress who felt their life was in danger. I know much has been made of these audio tapes, she said. They were first leaked online after being edited. What you would hear in these clips was no evidence of what was happening. It was evidence of a negotiation of how to talk about that with your abuser. She continued, As I testified on the stand about it, when your life is at risk, not only will you take the blame for things that you shouldn't take the blame for, but when you're in an abusive dynamic, psychologically, emotionally, and physically, you don't have the resources or the luxury of saying, hey, this is black and white, because it is anything but when you're living in it. Heard also attacked the witnesses who testified on Depp's behalf during the trial, calling them paid employees and randos, and accusing them of filing rank and supporting the person on whom they rely. While Heard insisted that she never instigated any violence in her relationship, she did admit to acting in horrible, almost unrecognizable to herself ways, telling Guthrie that she was pushed to the point where she didn't know the difference between right and wrong. I did and said horrible, regrettable things throughout my relationship, she confessed. I behaved in horrible, almost unrecognizable to myself ways. I have so much regret. I freely and hopefully and voluntarily talked about what I did. I talked about the horrible language. I talked about being pushed to the extent where I didn't even know the difference between right and wrong. I will always continue to feel like I was a part of this, like I was the other half of this relationship, because I was. Heard went on to describe her marriage and relationship with Depp as ugly and beautiful, saying it was ugly and it could be very beautiful. It was very, very toxic. We made a lot of mistakes, but I've always told the truth. It was obviously a pretty rough interview for Amber Heard, and even her expressions to certain questions showed that the actress was quite uncomfortable with the direction that some other questions were taking. However, one of the most controversial topics of the interview, which unleashed more than just a pout, was when it was insinuated that Amber had lied and that her testimonies and contradictory evidence were an important factor for the jury to determine that the actress was lying at trial.
There's no polite way to say it. The jury looked at the evidence you presented. They listened to your testimony, and they did not believe you. They thought you were lying.
However, this information was not the most shocking. After this interview, a jury could not take it anymore and came out to say that the information and evidence that Heard had presented was completely false. Of course, this information was revealed anonymously by a reliable source who commented on a tweet that's already been deleted, but soon internet users and fans began to track down the Twitter account that made this comment, among others. It turns out that the account belongs to one of the jurors who participated in the verdict of the actress. The account was soon blocked, and fans began to speculate that such action was brought about by Amber Heard's legal team.
I'll put it this way. How could they make a judgment? How could they not come to that conclusion? They had sat in those seats and heard over 3 weeks of nonstop, relentless testimony.
Of course, neither Amber nor the actress's legal team has commented on this information. However, a statement may likely be issued in this regard. What do you think Amber's reaction will be? Will she admit that she lied and falsified the evidence presented at trial? Could it be that Amber really did lie, or is this just more propaganda to attract attention? After the trial, she was left in a very bad position. Tell us what you think and your theories, and obviously, don't miss any more videos of your favorite celebrities by subscribing to this channel. See you in the next video.